We are so grateful that you are all here to welcome in Shabbat with us. We're all entering with very different needs this evening. And so I am grateful that you have chosen Emanuel to be your home. Tonight, if you're going by the Jewish calendation, of course, we begin every either commemoration or holiday at night, because the Torah says there was evening and then there was morning. So this would be, if we counted such things as a yahrzeit, the 1-year anniversary of Roe versus Wade being overturned. And so I'd like to read this poem by Alden Salvi before we begin. Today, I am an immigrant. I am a drag queen, a rape survivor, an African Methodist church set on fire, a mosque pelted with rocks, a synagogue painted with hate. I am disabled, a woman paid half of a salary, a black man encircled by police. I am Asian, Latino, Hispanic, Native American, and multiracial. Don't say suck it up. Don't say get over it. We haven't forgotten the lynching, the darkness of the closet, the death by back alley abortion. Today, I am Roe versus Wade. Today, I am an American, a citizen of the United States, a child of democracy, a patriot, dedicated to justice, dedicated to liberty, dedicated to action, demanding to be heard. I'd like to invite forward the family of Cade, our bar mitzvah, to do some candle lighting. As we're doing that, Rue, would you just do a slight nagoon, just a teeny little something to get us warmed up?
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
I invite you to rise physically or spiritually on page 123. 123. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tzion mitzrayim kivanu
אותנו קידשת מכל הימים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
L'chaim. And while you're standing, if you would turn to someone maybe you don't know or someone you'd like to say hello to and say Shabbat Shalom. We will continue our service on page 127. Please be seated. 127. Please read with me on page 126, if you would. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. Before we sing Sabbath Bride, this reading by Rachel Joy Bell. Come, my beloved, to welcome Shabbat. Come, my beloved. We say to Shabbat, we turn and welcome her in. Sometimes we compare her to a bride, sometimes to a queen. Every time we compare her to a woman, and ourselves to a group of male lovers waiting for her to arrive. We don't get enough stories about women who are loved by women, about men who are loved by men. We don't get enough stories about lovers who are neither men nor women. We don't get enough stories in which love does not fade, in which we see ourselves as the lovers and Jews we are. We've been given something in Ruth and Naomi, in David and Jonathan and in Joseph, something we hold and cherish, but that's also been clouded, questioned, and hidden. We honor that, we honor them, but we want more. We deserve more. Every Friday we bow, and in front of us is more. In front of us is love.
On the sixth day after creation came, an angel looked west and he spied a lonely figure upon a hill, calling, "Come, I will be your bride." She beckoned to him, she beckoned to him, calling, "Come, I will be your bride." The seventh day is the Sabbath, and for now you must rest by my side. He started to tell her of those 6 days, the work and the pain that he cried, resting his weary head on her knee, the weight of the world in his heart. She said, "Blessings on him." She said, "Blessings on him." She said, "On this day you are mine." Until heaven comes down to earth, you must rest with the Sabbath rest. And on the 8th day after creation came, the angel awoke and he sighed, for nowhere could he find her. Gone was the Sabbath rest. Many years later, I find myself on the evening train home Friday night, wondering if this week's creations are worthy of the Sabbath ride. Please beckon to me, bless all that you see, even though the world's not yet bright. Please remind us of heaven on the wings of the Sabbath bride.
On page 146, we invite you to rise physically or spiritually as our bar mitzvah Cade leads us in the Baruch Hu. We continue in the Hebrew, page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmeroteim barakia kirtzono. Boreyom v'layla, gol el or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevin layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tziva'ot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ham'ariv aravim. Page 151. We read responsively at the bottom of the page, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love
than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives us form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lavavecha u'chol nafashecha u'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, ושרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 158. There are times in every human being's life when we are put in front of an obstacle that seems impenetrable, whether it be water that you can't cross or something that feels just as daunting. In those moments, the only way over it is through it. Much like our ancestors, someone has got to wade in the water, even though it's scary, and that someone is you. The Mi Chamocha, page 158.
La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Here we go. Woo! Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Oh oh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef elem, Nora tehilot osef elem. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bo'okei igam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Eli anu ve'ameru, Ze Eli anu ve'ameru. Ya la 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 la. Woo! Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. La 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 la, ya la 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 la. You know, to the horror of our bar and bat mitzvot,
That's right.
we do the woo. And I always look over to see how much are they into it or how much do they hate it.
Kate gave me a hard no before we started. On page 160, the prayer that we might lie down in peace and rise up in peace.
the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred and sorrow and pain. Hashivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom. V'alidenu Malkeinu
On page 164, I invite you to rise physically or spiritually as Cade leads us in the Amidah.
Adonai sifav tavtivta ufia gita hilateha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah ve'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei ha'akol Ve'zocher hasdei avot v'imahot U'mevi geula livnei b'neihem Leman shemo be'ahava Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayeh hakol atah, Rav le'hoshia, mori atah. Mechalkel chayim b'chesed, mechayeh hakol b'rachmim rabim, somech noflim, ve'rofeh holim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato l'shenei afar. Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, u'mido melech, melech memit umchayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, ve'ne'eman ata le'hayot ako. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yalucha. Selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please take the next few moments for your own personal reflection. If you choose to use the words on the page as a guide, when you get to page 180, please be seated. Or when you're done with those reflections, it's fine to be seated then too.
Shalom. 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 Oh, shalom. Yeah. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Hallelujah. I say shalom. Aleinu. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Hallelujah. I say shalom. Aleinu. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma. Hallelujah. I say shalom. Aleinu. Ve'avo Yisrael. Amen, amen, amen. Oh, shalom. Oh, shalom. Oh, shalom, shalom. Oh, shalom.
Page 362, Seder Kriyat HaTorah LeShabbat. I'd like to invite forward Fletcher and Aspen Hand, Kate's cousins. Would you please rise?
אין כמוך באלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך, מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום. הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך את ציון, תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים. כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא, אדון עולמים. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו. Watch your fingers. אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד. כי הוא בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה והנתנשא לכל ראש. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה, ונאמר לפניו שירה חדשה. hallelujah, hallelujah.
In the other blue books, page 879, this is Parshat Korach, and I'd like to invite forward Cade's grandparents to come and stand on my left. You can sit down. Make sure I have my spot and then we can get started. Okay, I'm good.
Please, now.
Baruch Adonai Amvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher b'charbono mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. This story will unpack a little in my drash, but also come tomorrow. Hear a 13-year-old's amazing take on this particular Torah portion, which is not the easiest of Torah portions, I think we all can admit when you hear the story. Vayikach Korach, and Korach took. What Korach took, we have no idea. But who's Korach? Ben Yitzhar, ben Kahat, ben Levi, the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, who happens to be from the tribe of Levi. V'Datan v'Aviram b'nei Eliav, and Datan and Aviram, who share a father named Eliav, v'On ben Pelet, and On, son of Pelet, b'nei Reuven, and they were all Reubenites. Vayakumu lifnei Moshe, and this is the word to get up, they rose up against Moses. Lost my spot, one moment please. Vayakumu lifnei Moshe, v'anashim mibnei Yisrael 50 250 people who were Israelites, Nisi'ei Edat Kirei Moed, Anshe Shem, and these men were princes of the assembly, and they were men of a good name. Vayikahelu al Moshe, and they assembled against Moses, va'al Aharon and Aaron, vayomru alehem, and they said, Rav lechem, you've taken on too much. You think you're so high and mighty. I'm paraphrasing the high and mighty. Ki kol ha'edat kulam kedoshim, because the entirety of the community, kulam kedoshim, we are all holy. Uvtocham Adonai madua titnasu al kahal Adonai, and God is in all of our midst. And how do you think you can rise yourself or place yourself above others in God's assembly? Please.
L'chaei olam nata baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Kate a kiss as you go out, but take this back. Our thoughts turn to now those who are in need of refuat shlema, of refuah haguf. Our congregation is thinking about Carlos Barrios, Joshua Cohen, Stephen Engelman, Marcy Gelber, Phyllis Goldblatt, Miriam Lyon, Arlene Alpert Melman, Avery Spunt, Tali Stein, Cameron Michael Taft, Eddie Tucker. As my arm goes around, please call out. It's okay if one name falls on top of another. God can sort that out. Call out a name maybe you're thinking of.
Linda Lumen, Kath Warman,
Jack, are there names on? Thank you. We join together singing.
Mi shebera avotenu mekor habracha lehimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Amen. Mishevera imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We place our Torah scroll back into the ark. Page 374, we invite you to please rise as Kate and I open the ark.
Hodol al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'avo tehila lecho chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Et hayim lemachazikim ba v'tomecha me'ushar deracheka l'chenom v'chol netivotecha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashua Kadesh, Kadesh Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu Kedem.
The story of Korach is a tale for the ages. Korach, who by the way happens to be the cousin of Moses, leads a rebellion, as I read, to undermine the leadership of Moses and Aaron as they wander the wilderness. God responds by orchestrating a ceremony involving fire pans and flowering staves to prove that Korach and his followers are in the wrong. The story ends rather dramatically, with the earth swallowing up the rebels and silencing their claims once and for all. How many here have one time or another wished the earth swallowed them up? You can imagine, maybe this is a death, maybe this is mortification. What were the complaints of Korach and the rebels? Their assertion, Kulam Kedoshim, we're all holy, that's not wrong. So what were their reasons to bring this to a boiling point? The Torah doesn't deny that mistakes have been made. There are promises made and promises delayed. The people's journey from Egypt until now was toward a land of freedom and plenty. They've experienced God's protective force, from plagues against the Egyptians to the salvation at the Sea of Reeds. They've stood at a quaking mountain and entered into a covenantal relationship with the divine. However, there were horrible events that followed. The spies who made the critical mistake to refuse to enter the promised land, to name one. The people have no future except to die in the desert, and that's all their fault. The stage is set for these demagogues to exploit Israel's anxieties. Korach, as Rabbi Barry Dove Lerner points out, a Levite himself, is particularly incensed that Aaron holds a special position while there is disregard for the other Levites. How dare Moses choose him? I mean, to heck with the fact that it's his brother. And it's to be permanent. All priests, all Kohanim, will uniquely be Aaron's direct descendants to officiate in the holy places forever. The remaining Levites, they only assist with the temple chores, carrying and cleaning. It's nepotism. The outraged Korach and his comrades, and he easily found other Levitical supporters, revolting, literally. Another contributing factor may really have begun earlier with Abraham. He listens to God, and as the firstborn, he leads his family to Egypt at a time of famine, returning to Canaan. The Israelites came again to Egypt, also as a family escaping a famine, and Joseph is the authority figure, second only to Pharaoh in Egypt. Abraham was the leader of the family according to the rules of primogeniture, the rights of the firstborn son. But the other patriarchs broke that hereditary custom. And Jacob goes one step further. He promoted Judah based on merit, although the fourthborn above Reuben, his firstborn. After the Exodus, 3 especially disappointed Reubenites ally with Korach. Were they simply jealous of Moses as leader? Or is there popular dissatisfaction with Moses? Do they blame him for the hunger, thirst, dashed dreams, for seizing the leadership, although not the firstborn or a Reubenite? Now they charge Moses for bringing them into the desert to die with false promises of a land of milk and honey. All these factors unite to create a major shift in Israel's organized authority. Korach, Levites, and Reubenites resisted such a seismic change in this new religious, social, and political dynamic. They preferred the old model that they had known for generations. It was familiar, and in which they, as leadership, had real clout. But I want you to note this as well. This literally is not your grandfather's Israel. It's the cusp of a new Israel, emerging from Egypt with a reconfiguration of religious authority, legal guidance, and a political system. And everyone senses more changes in the wind again ahead during the journey. However, this remains a very complicated story, conflating apparently different sources and traditions. And there are too few details, leaving room for conjecture to fill in the gaps of this important moment in Jewish history. Our sages apparently felt the obvious reasons for Korach leading this mob against Moses and Aaron was incomplete. In their minds, each lacuna needed to be filled and could, in their hands, become a teaching moment. These lessons were shared by proposed legendary commentary on Torah were shared by proposed legendary commentary on Torah details that promoted contemporary Jewish values. We read Midrash as if their creative fine points were indeed facts, albeit transmitted hundreds of years later. Midrash broadens an event and provokes deeper thinking. For example, a favorite Midrash from Tehuna dates more than 1,000 years after Korach did his thing. In this Midrash, he confronts Moses with a trick question to deceive the listening public. He asks Moses, does a library full of scriptural books need a mezuzah? Moses answers him, yes, even such a Torah library is required to have a mezuzah. But then Korach points out, since the whole Torah has thousands of verses in it, and they do not exempt the library, how do only a few verses in the mezuzah fulfill your law? Korach twists the argument like the demagogue he is, revealing his real intentions to a listening mob. This failure of your own logic proves that these are not laws about which you have been commanded by God. Rather, you are inventing them out of your own heart. Now set the scene for the replacement of Moses and Aaron. Remember, this is a midrash, a rabbinic creation, filling in for what is not written in Torah. Did this conversation truly occur, or is it an example of what could have taken place? Sure. But it's one example how our sages interpreted the written and oral law to provide each generation with laws and parables taught out of Torah. Beginning with our patriarchs and matriarchs, followed by our priests, prophets, monarchs, and rabbis, it's been our nature to quarrel and debate each other across the centuries in a constant search for truth and authenticity. Moses was right because he was Eved Hashem, God's chosen servant, and he was satisfied with his allotment in life. Korach was wrong because he was not satisfied with what he had. As we follow the story of Korach, his allies and their self-serving rebellion, hopefully we'll be encouraged to live by another rabbinic adage. Who is rich? He or she or they who are content with their portion. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom. I'll ask Kate to join me. Page 586, and if you would rise physically or spiritually for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tzet gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama. שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו כהמונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated. This poem, also by Alden Salve, is called Birthday No More. This empty space and time in my heart is yours. It is the space for yearning, the space of memory, the day your light came into the world, a day of sorrow for what was lost, birthdays that will never be. This day touches the depth of my grief and loss. This day touches a wound and makes it new. God of generations, be with me as we remember what was. I miss you. First, I would like to invite to rise those who have lost someone in the last 30 days. Next, I ask those who are commemorating a yard site to please join them. And if it is your custom and you wish to join them, please do so now. Page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכם וביומכם ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב. ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה
Berihu.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו
אמן.
יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיים וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the source peace send peace to all of you who are bereaved among us. Let us all say amen.
Amen.
Forgive my admission. Was there anyone who is not on the art site list whose name Sandy, I believe your grandparents were not? Thank you. And were there any on YouTube? Thank you. Forgive me, Sandy. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. You'll forgive me.
100%.
Saul Bonham, Erica Broad, Lee Cohen, Esther Cohn, Mildred Crown, Yaffa Claire Drazen, Kurt Dreyfus, Goldie Freeman, Barry Friedberg, Bess Friedland, Lillian Friedman, Edith Ginsburg, Frida Kruger Goldstucker, Ellen M. Good, Sonia Hirsch, Mary Jane Jones, Jeanette E. Kahn, Esther Kaufman-Glickman, Meyer M. Kurlansky, Nelson Ledsky, Roberta Madnick, Jack Metcalf, Herman Meyer, Beatrice Moskowitz, Ansei Narinsky, Eileen Rothman, Ruth Rubin, Alice Salad, Rose Silverstein, Carl Stanislavsticker, Bessie Hirschstein, William Wagner, and in Shloshim, Lorraine Hoppy, Ellen Hyman, Mark Drucker, Molly Rachel Levine. Many, many thanks to the Bar Mitzvah family for including us in Cade's life in this beautiful way. You gave us Mickey too, so you're 2 for 2.
Right.
And for all of you that made Shabbat happen. Devorah, is there someplace we're going after? Right out in the hall, how lovely. After the closing song, if you would allow Cade and I to come to the bottom of the stairs, we'd like to greet each one of you personally. And Rue, our closing song.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to do Turn, Turn, Turn on page 664. Things always keep changing. This Israel, last Israel, the Israels to come. 664. 664 in the same blue book you used for the services. Turn, turn, turn. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep, a time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones. time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time of love, a time of hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. Shabbat shalom. Go in peace.